Hey, what's good? I'm Kinell and this is Sinister Cinema, where we get deep into the guts of classics and new releases from horror and exploitation cinema. And this right here is part 2 of my look into the Hellraiser direct-to-video sequels. I was pleasantly surprised with a couple of them in the previous episode, not so surprised with others, but it was an interesting look. Let's see if there's something else more today. Right, we're kicking off with another Rick Boter one, and this is Hellraiser, Hellworld.
I'm going to a real-life secret Hellworld.
Hellraisers, let's play!
Welcome, Hellraisers. Invitations. That's what I'm talking about.
I wouldn't touch that.
Is it just a game now?
It's not real!
If you need anything, just scream. Welcome to hell.
Hellraiser, Hellworld. This one again, not quite so good. This one's gone for more of a sort of teen horror vibe as well, which, you know, apart from being not particularly Hellraiser, just isn't for me. I mean, like, the setup is quite an interesting one. This one had a script that was written as a Hellraiser script, but it was based off a short story that wasn't a Hellraiser script, so there's that going for it. And it sort of revolves around a bunch of teens that are obsessed with a Hellraiser themed game. So this is kind of meta. Hellraiser as a concept exists in this world. And they go to this, one of their friends has killed themselves because they're playing this game so much, and they go to this party in a spooky old mansion hosted by Lance Henriksen, genre legend, and shit starts going a bit hellish. I mean, okay, this one, fucking, the setup's a bit of a problem, because, I mean, the setup itself, bunch of people start dying after being invited to a spooky old mansion. That shit is straight out of fucking Vincent Price movies. And the fact that Lance Henriksen is obviously going to be behind it, fucking anyone with a working knowledge of early Scooby-Doo knows that's going to be the case. So your big twist is fucking down the bog from the fucking offset with this one. And also there's the fact there's a lot of party sequences, and fucking this is a problem I have not just with this film but a lot of fucking Hollywood films in general. There are party sequences that just absolutely suck. Another problem with it is the music that they're dancing to. They couldn't afford to lease anything decent, so absolutely every tune that these people are supposedly partying to sounds like a fucking anti-piracy VHS advert. Yeah, so there's that. And honestly, some of the kills in it aren't the worst, but it's just not a very well put together film, because there's a lot of fucking setup. Too much fucking setup, and it all needs fucking explaining at the end. I mean, spoilers, fucking Lance Henriksen has fucking spiked them all with some form of hallucinogen to make everything feel that much more hellish. But there's about fucking 7 different things that have to happen in order for all of these teenagers to be on this fucking hallucinogen. There's like some people neck a shot from a spiked liquid, one girl sprays some perfume in his face, someone else picks up a fucking tarot card that's fucking like laced with fucking acid or whatever it is. By the way, speaking from my younger years, acid doesn't do that. Yeah, fuck it, yeah, there's a fucking someone else gets pricked on a booby trap puzzle box and all this. And there's about 5 different fucking things that have to happen. You could fucking cut all of that out the film by just them all agreeing to do the shot when they get there. Simple, boom. But it all has to be set up like that, and it all needs explaining at the end. Some of the kills, They're fucking not the worst. There's a couple of alright ones. Some of them are a bit too fucking basic. I mean, I'm trying to separate this from Hellraiser, but one's literally just Pinhead chopping some guy's head off. And also, thanks to a fake out jump scare fairly early on in the proceedings, we know that not only does Hellraiser exist in this world, but affordable fake Cenobite masks are also available. You know, you've just given away way too much, way too early. Lots of explanation, blah de blah, shit party sequences. So I'm gonna say Hellworld, not the best. Okay, let's have a look at another one. Hellraiser Revelations.
Are we rolling?
Yes.
Can you get a shot of downtown LA before we say goodbye to it forever?
Bye, LA.
This is gonna be an epic journey.
There is no better buzz than a tequila buzz.
That is true. Whoa. I'm gonna take her home. She's gonna be my souvenir. What did you do?
I don't know, okay? I don't know what happened, okay? She hit her head or something. I don't know.
This will take you beyond the limits.
How much do you want for it?
It's yours already, Nico. Your way's wide.
What was that?
I don't really get it. You guys never talk about Steven and Nico.
Emma, please.
What, please forget that I had a brother? Please forget that my boyfriend disappeared with him? What is on that video camera?
Shut up!
It's Steven!
Everyone, just stay calm.
What's happening?
Here we go.
You opened it, summoned us, and we came. You have a darkness that rivals my own, Nico. It will be a very special pleasure to rip you apart.
And right about here, with Hellraiser Revelations, is where we get into unpopular opinion territory. We all thought it sucked when it came out, but I rewatched it today and I've got to say that this film bangs like fuck. This is the most rushed out of all the Hellraiser sequels because they just needed to get any Hellraiser film out in order to maintain the rights. It's 75 minutes long, which is the absolute shortest time you can have to call something a feature film. I think that's still the case. And it was shown in one cinema once for the cast and crew so they could do it. And it was thrashed together in 3 weeks. It was very, very, very rushed into production. But so the bar is pretty low here. But here's where fucking, I remember a lot of people being pissed off with this. Clive Barker himself was absolutely furious, saying this is not a Hellraiser product. But I'm gonna say, this is more Hellraiser than a lot of the previous films for a start off, because it's been written as a Hellraiser film and fucking ties into a lot of things. Also, 3 weeks to make a low budget film. I mean, fucking tell that to fucking Charles Band. He'll fucking bang out a film in that time under quarantine conditions. Fucking 3 weeks, that's fucking 2 Jim Wynorski films, easy, with time for post-production. Albert fucking Pune would be fucking, he'd do fucking 10 films in that fucking time. And we'd later find out he'd be using the equipment to make other films on a dinner break. 3 weeks for a low budget horror film is fucking doable when you got the man for the job. And I think they did get the man for the job here. This guy called Victor Garcia. I was not too familiar with Victor Garcia, because he mainly does like direct-to-video sequels for things. That's his jam. He did stuff like Mirrors 2, 30 Days a Night 2, fucking shit like that. I generally swerve these films in the past, but honestly, looking at this one independently, I reckon it's pretty banging. It kicks off with some camcorder footage, which was a bit of a worry. I was hoping they weren't gonna, because I do not really want a full film of fucking found footage Hellraiser. But it was just a setup and it worked quite well. These two lads going to Mexico, fucking around, doing all this stupid shit. Oops, it's a puzzle box, shit's happening. I mean, there's a few places where the budget really show because they can't even open a puzzle box in this. Like when they're filming the Hellraiser films, they need about 5 different fucking puzzle boxes to all do the different fucking movements because you can't build one puzzle box that does it. But yeah, so they can't even do that. And fucking this is the first one without Doug Bradley as Hellraiser, which was a bit of a sticking point for some people. And the fucking pinhead they have got doesn't look right, but to be fairness, like with many other Hellraiser films, Pinhead isn't in it that much, and a lot of the practical effects in this, considering the time they're on, are pretty banging, and it is mainly practical effects. It's some good shit, fucking like the, you know, it goes back to the actual fucking someone being brought back from hell and they need to be fed blood thing from the original thing, so it's good to have that back, someone coming out of a bloody mattress and all that in a much cheaper way than fucking the original Hellraiser and Hellraiser 2, but still, I fucks with it. This film entertained the shit out of me. I was buzzing along. 75 minutes, it goes on at a right old clip. I mean, obviously I was gutted like, this isn't Hellraiser at the time, but nah, this is a good film. This is like Full Moon does Hellraiser. This is like, fuck it, well yeah, any of those directors are for. It's been banged out in 3 weeks, and it's been banged out a pretty solid fucking film. And it doesn't really vary that much from the mythos, so you could even say it's pretty close to a Hellraiser film. Yeah, I fucks with it. Hellraiser Revelations? Yes, mate. Okay, and on to the most recent one, Hellraiser Judgement.
Evil seeks evil. What is going on here? Let's just dive in, shall we?
What we're investigating is very dark.
Just curious. What do you see?
You think you're too close to this case?
Jesus Christ.
It's him.
What on earth is this place? It isn't. There's hell to pay.
Hellraiser Revelations. This very low budget again, but I remember at the time this sort of emerged. It came out earlier than we expected it to, because it was kind of sitting on a shelf. But Miramax, Harvey Weinstein, up to his mischief, meant that they had to fucking get a load of shit out quickly, which meant it was released very suddenly. The director for this one is Gary Tunnicliffe, and what should I call it? He's been involved since way back in the Hellraiser franchise, doing a lot of the makeup. So, you know, apart from the last one. So he has a really good understanding of the franchise in general. So that's a good sign for a start off. It's got a very, very strong opening. See, this one, this one came out 2018, but in 2016 we had a film from Turkey called Baskin. If you want a real spiritual successor to Hellraiser, that's the one you want to go for. That's a crazy fucking film, obviously all in Turkish. If it was up to me, I would tell the people who own the rights to Hellraiser, chuck the Baskin lads the fucking rights and just let them crack on. I definitely think that was a bit of an influence here. And the first 10 minutes of fucking, what are we on, Revelations? Judgement. The first 10 minutes of Judgement are fucking, it's pretty banging. We are well in torture porn territory here, with a lot of fucking dark aesthetics and fucking cruel shit and fucking imagery and all this. It's working really nice. And then after that, it kind of transitions into a similar kind of story to Inferno, you know, with a detective who's looking into some kind of serial killer. But it doesn't really follow the detective to the same kind of degree. And it kind of plods a bit when it's in the detective investigating shit bits. Those bits are a bit crap. There's some good imagery, like in the bits that are hellish and all this, the bits that are supposed to be fucking all kinds of like in the world of the Cenobites are pretty fucking banging, but there's a lot of filler in here and it's all the detective shit, and the ending's a bit ropey. But yeah, this is a very Hellraiser, but it's not a particularly well written movie, and that's what we're after here. So yeah, that is all the fucking, DTV Hellraiser sequels. Obviously there's going to be new stuff coming out soon. There always will be. There's things being announced that sound promising, but even if they don't happen, I have no doubt that some form of Hellraiser products, even if it isn't this upcoming HBO miniseries or whatever, is going to come up again. And I got to say, looking through these I'm looking at the franchise from a different light. For me, my favourite Hellraiser is definitely Hellraiser 2, followed by Hellraiser 1 and Hellraiser 3. But now, in at number 4, I've got to say Revelations is the top 4 fucking Hellraiser film. It fucking bangs. And for number 5, I'd have to say Deader from the previous video. I'll leave a link at the bottom for that one if you want to check that out. So yeah. This has been a voyage of fucking discovery, because I had all these films in my head as absolutely fucking sucking arse, and it was down to that prejudice. It's not Hellraiser. It's not Hellraiser if it hasn't got Clive Barker's endorsement. It's not Hellraiser if it doesn't feature Doug Bradley as Pinhead. But you know, demons, do they always have to look the same? Nah, big up fucking Clive Barker for being a legend, and big up Doug Bradley for making the role for embodying it in such an iconic manner. But ultimately, I reckon there's more than that to this franchise. So yeah, Hellraiser, check them. If you comments down below if you agree, if you disagree. I sense a lot of people might disagree, but I also sense a lot of people who came here to disagree haven't checked them recently, and I'm saying maybe it's time to come back with some fresh eyes. Meantime, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, because it really does help me a lot, and I'll catch you again. Safe.